Shalom, Yah Bashim Yah Shai Barakathon to all my brothers. Yah Shema Latah Bashim Yah Shai to all my sisters. The Sabbath service will begin. Barak, Laya Shala. Imagine upon your Hakwadam, which means to rise, turn and face the east. We're gonna begin with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwtka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawat Yanawa, Wala'ah, Tabi Anawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha Allah, Waha Ta'arath, La'ai Walamya, Amen. We just read. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. Amen. All right, we're going to do the power, hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Baba Kasha, Nathan Lanawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Hakak, Lataha, Ha Matazarayam, Hakak, Lahaquayam, Hamathium, Hakak, Al Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagarashan, Bahashim Yahushai, the water, Aman. We just read. Lord, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. We're going to do Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Harayam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Azariah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayam, Wa'arataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana la'a yanawam wala'a yashan shawama yasha'ala Yahweh shamarka Yahweh tazalka al yad yakaka wayarak baliyallah Yahweh yashamarka makarad yashama af napashka Yahweh yashama tazaathka waba wa'aka ma'aitha wa'ai awalam. We just read, I will lift up my eyes onto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. All right, we're going to do Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, al-Damailaka, al-Takarash, wa al-Tashakwat, al-Kayahana, al-Yabyaka, Yahama Yawan, wa Mashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, al-Imaka, Yerayamwa, Sawad, Wayatha Aitazawa, al-Tazapawanyaka, Amawar, Lakawar, Wanakakidam, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazaka, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Love, Yakadwa, Al Yakar, Bayarath, Yakarathwa, Ahal Ya, Adawam, Waya Shemailayam, Mawa'aba, Wa Hagarayam, Gabal, Wa Amawan, Wa Amalak, Palashat, Am Yashabia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nelawar, Amawar, Salaki, Imam, Hayawar, Zara'ai, Lavanya Lawat, Salah, Aisha Laham, Kamajid, Kasa, Yisra'a, Kayabian, Banakal, Koyashwan, Shiyadamwa, Nadiyamua, Ka'ara, Wakazaba, Wakazamana, Kal Nasiyakamwa, Ashar, Amawar, Nayarashah, Nanawar, Afna Awath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shiyadamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapanya Rakar, Ka'ash, the Ba'ira, Ya'ira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Hariyam, Kandaradutma, Wasa Irika, Wabasawafka, Zabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kuala One, where Bakwashwa, Shamkar, Yahawa, Yabashwa, where Bahawa, Ijai, where Kapawa, where Abadwa, where Da'iwa, Kaya, Athar, Shamkar, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Kal Ha Arataza. All right, what we just read in Psalms 83. Keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, at the brook of Kasan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Ze'ab. Yeah, all their princes as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. All right, we're going to do the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Mayak Ya'ala, wa Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alawat Yahana, ha Alawatyam, ha Saranyam, ha Quatazayanyam, ha Koyayoyam, wa Akwathyan, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, the water. Amen. We just read. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. All right, with that, Asar, which means to turn. All right. Ishabia, which means to be seated. All right. All right, here we go. Where did we leave off? Okay. We are in the book of Exodus still. One of my favorite books. I believe we are in the book of Exodus chapter Book of Exodus chapter let's see. All right, we're in the book of Exodus. We're going to start at chapter 39. Let me see. Yep. Give me 1 second. Book of Exodus, chapter 39. Yeah, we're gonna start at chapter 40. Book of Exodus, chapter 40. We'll probably roll into. Yeah, we'll probably roll into Leviticus. Let's do the book of Exodus, chapter 39, verse 31. So normally we do the first 7 verses in the Hebrew. If you have a Torah or a Tanakh, this is the one I use only for the Hebrew translation. Does not have the King James on here, but it does have the Hebrew translation. So that's the one I use. So we're going to go to Leviticus. Salak, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 39, all right? We're going to start at verse 31. Okay, Exodus chapter 39. All right, verse 31. Wayathanawah, Ilayawa, Pathayo, Thaka Latha, Lathatha, Al Hama Tazanapath, Malama Ila, Ka'ashah, Tazawa, Yahweh, Ath Mashah, verse 32. What the call Ibadatha, Mushakan, Ahal, Mawa'ai, Waya'ai Shawa, Banya, Yasha'ala, Kakal, Ashar, Tazawar, Yahweh, Athmashah, Khan, Aishawa, verse 33. Wayabaya Awar, Ath, so like Ath Hamashakan, Al Mashah, Ath Ha'ahal, Wa'ath Kal Kalayawar, Quara Siyawar, Quara Shayawar, Bara Yakawar, Bara Yakayawar, Wa'ai Madayawar, Wa'a Danayawar, verse 34. Wa'ath Makasah, Slakia, Ira Rath, Ha'ayalam, Hama'a Damayam, Wa'ath Makasah, Iratha, Hatha Kashayam, Wa'ath Parakatha, Hamasak, verse 35. Ath Aran, Ha'ai Datha, Wa'ath, Bada Yawar, Wa'ath, Haka Parath, verse 36. Ath Hashala, Salaki, Hashala Khan, Ath called Kalayawar, Wa'ath Lakam, Hapa Nayum, verse 37. Ath Hama Narath, Hata Hara, Ath Nara Thaya, Narath, Hama I Rakah, Wa'ath Kal Kalaya, Wa'ath Shaman, Hama Awar, verse 38. Wa'ath Mazabak, Hazahab, Wa'ath Shaman, Hamashakar, Wa'ath Salaki, Quatarath, Hasamayath, Wa'ath Masak, Salaki, Masak, Pathak, Ha'ahal, verse 39. Ath Mazabak, Hana Kashath, Wa'ath Makabar, Hana Kashath, Ashar Lawar, Ath Badayawar, Wa'ath Kal Kalayawar, Ath Hakayar, Wa'ath Kanayar. All right. What we just read in Exodus chapter 39, verse 32. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of congregation finished. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So did they. And they brought the tabernacle. Now keep in mind, Moses was in charge. The reason why Moses was in charge is because the Lord put Moses in charge. And the Lord only dealt with Moses, you know what I mean, from till the time of his death. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Joshua after Moses died. All right, that's how the Lord deals with rank and structure. You know what I mean? That's how he deals with it. He appoints one man, and that one man appoints officers. And the man today that is in charge is Christ. Christ is the one that's in charge. And he appoints a man on the earth to be in charge. And that man appoints officers and captains to lead the people. That's how it's always worked. And so it says, I'm going to read it again. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So did they. Verse 33. And they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent, and all his furniture, his taches, his boards, his bars, and his pillars, and his sockets. Keep in mind, the Lord had instructed Moses to build a tabernacle, and it had to be done to specification, right? It had to be done according to how the Lord instructed Moses. That's how it had to be done, and it had to be done with perfection, to the point where the Lord poured out his spirit on certain men that could craft jewelry, certain men that could create that would be poured out with certain skill sets to be able to make the Lord's tabernacle to perfection. Let's keep reading. And they brought verse 33, and they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent and all his furniture, his taches, his boards, his bars, and his pillars, and his sockets, and the covering of ram skins dyed red, and the covering of badger skins, and the veil of covering, the ark of the testimony, and the staves thereof, and the mercy seat, the table and all the vessels thereof, and the showbread, the pure candlestick with the lamps thereof, even the lamps to set in order, and all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light, and the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the tabernacle door. Verse 39, the brazen altar, and his grate of brass, his staves, and all his levers, the laver, and his foot. All right. All right, so we're going to start at next 7 in the Hebrew, starting at verse 40. Exodus chapter 39, verse 40. Ath kwala iwa hakatazar ath ima daya wa ath adanaya wa ath hamasak la I shar hakatazar ath maya thara yawa waya thara thaya wa ath call kalaya ibadatha hamashakan la ahal mawa'id. Verse 41. Ath bagadaya hasharad la'ai ratha bakwa dasha ath bagadaya hakwadash la'a haran hakahan wa'ath bagadaya banaya lakahan. Verse 42. Kakal ashar tazawar Yahweh ath mashar khan aishwa banya yasha'ala ath call ha'ai bada. Verse 43. Waira'ah mashar ath call hamala akah wahana aishwa atha ka'ashar tazawar Yahweh Khan Aishwa Waya Barak Atham Mashah. Let me see where we're at real quick. All right, 3 more. Starting at verse 40. Exodus chapter 40, verse 1. Waya the bar Yahweh al Mashah la Amar, verse 2. Bayawam Hakadash Hara Ashawan Ba'akad Lakadash Thakwayum Ath Mashakan Ahal Mawa'ai. Verse 3. Washamath Sham Ath Our one, ha'ai dawatha, what's a katha al ha'aran, ath haparakat. All right. We're going to start at Exodus chapter 39, verse 40, what we just read. And the hangings of the court, his pillars and his sockets, and his hangings for the court gate, his cords and his pins, all the vessels of the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of the congregation, the cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and his son's garments, to minister in the priest office. Remember, the ministers during the time of Moses, even all the way up to the time of Christ, the ministers were always the Levites. The Levites were always attained the office of ministry for the Lord. Verse 42, according to all the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel made all the work. And Moses did look upon all the work, and behold, they had done it as the Lord had commanded. Even so, they done it, and Moses blessed them. Verse 40. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month, thou shalt set up the tabernacle of the tent of congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with the veil. All right. Next 7 in the Hebrew, starting at Exodus chapter 40, verse 4. Wahaba'atha ath hashala kun wa'ai rakath ath ira kawa waha ba'atha ath hamanara waha'ai layatha ath nara thaya. Verse 5. Wanathatha ath mazabak hazahab lakwa tarath lapanaya arawan ha'ai datha washamath ath masak hapathak lamashikan. Verse 6. Wana thatha ath mazabak ha'ai la lapanaya pathak mashakan ahal moa'id. Verse 7. Wana thatha ath hakaya bayan ahal moa'id wabayan wamazabak wanathatha sham mayam. Verse 8. Washamatha ath hakatazah sabayab wanathatha ath masak sha'ira hakatazah. Verse 9. Walakwa katha ath shaman hamashaka wamashakat ath hamashakan wa ath kal asha baya wakwa dashatha athawa wa ath kal kalayawa wahaya kwadash. Verse 10. Wama shakatha ath mazabak ha'ai la wa ath kal kalayawa wakwa dashatha ath hamazabak Yahweh salaki wahaya hamazabak Quadashiyam. Verse 11. Wamashakatha ath hakaya wa ath kanaya Wakwa Deshatha Athawar. All right. Exodus chapter, what we just read in Exodus chapter 40, starting at verse 4. And thou shalt bring in the table and set in order the things that are to be set in order upon it. And thou shalt bring in the candlestick and light the lamps thereof. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door to the tabernacle. And thou shalt set the altar of burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. Verse 7. And thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shalt put water therein. Verse 8. And thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up the hanging at the court gate. And thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is therein, and shall hallow it, all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. Verse 10. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar. Meaning sanctify, meaning to clean, to cleanse. And it shall be an altar most holy. Verse 11. And thou shalt anoint the laver in his foot, and sanctify it. All right. Next 7 in the Hebrew. Starting at verse 12. Chapter 40, verse 12. Wahakwa Rabak Ath Ha'aran Wa'ath Banayawa Al Pathak Ahal Mawa'id Wara Katazatha Atham Bamayum. Verse 13. Wahala Bashatha Ath Aran Aharan Ath Bagadiyah Hakwadash Wama Shikatha Athawa Wakwa Deshatha Athawa Wakahan La Ya. Verse 14. Wa'ath Banayawa Hakwa Rayab Waha Labashatha Atham Katha Natha. Verse 15. Wama Shakatha Atham Ka'ashar Mashakatha Ath Abayaham Waka Hanawa Lawa Waha Yatha Laha Yatha Laham Masha Katham Laka Hanatha Iwalam Ladaratham. Verse 16. Where Aishwa Masha Kakal Asha Tazawa Yahweh Athawa Khan Aisha. Verse 17. Wayahaya Bakadash Hara Ashawan Bashana Hashanayatha Ba'akad Lakadash Hawakwam Hama Shakan. Verse 18. Wayakwam Masha Ath Hama Shakan Wayathan Ath Adanayawa Wayasham Ath Quara Shayawa Wayathan Ath Bara Yahayawa Wayakwam Ath Ima Wadaya. Verse 19. Wayaparasha Ath Ha'ahal Al Hama Shakan Wayasham Ath Makasa Ha'a Hal Ila Yawa Mala Ma'ila Ka'asha Tazawa Yahweh Ath Masha. All right. Exodus chapter 40, starting at verse 12. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of congregation, and wash them with water. And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. And thou shalt bring his sons, and clothe them with coats, and thou shalt anoint them as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest office. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Thus did Moses, according to all that the Lord commanded him. So did he. And it came to pass in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. And Moses reared up the tabernacle, and fastened his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put in the bars thereof, and reared up his pillars. Now keep in mind, the world just celebrated New Year's, right? America just worshipped a strange God, a historical God, actually, the god Janus, which has had many transformations throughout the ages, right? But the first month of the year usually starts in the spring. The new year usually starts in the spring. All right. For those that are ignorant to how the seasons work according to the Bible. Okay. Exodus chapter 40, verse 19. And he spread abroad the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent above upon it, as the Lord commanded Moses. All right, next 7 in the Hebrew. Salakia. I believe that's 2, 4, 5, 20. All right. Okay, so we're going to start at verse 20. Exodus chapter 40, verse 20. Where your quack, where your thun, ath ha'ai detha, al ha'aran, where your shum, ath haba dayum, al ha'aran, where your thun, ath haka parath, al ha'aran, mala ma'ai la, verse 21. Where ba'a, ath ha'aran, al hama shakan, where shum. Salakia. Let's start at verse, let's do 22. Where thun, ath hashalakan, ba'ahol, mawa'id, al yarak, hamashakan, taza pana, maka wataza, laparakatha, verse 23. Where Iraq, Ila Yawa, Iraq, Lakam, Lapanaya, Yahweh, Ka'ashah, Tazawa, Yahweh, Ath Mashah, verse 24. Where Shum, Ath Hamanara, Ba'ahol, Mawa'id, Slakia, Nakak, Hashalakan, Al Yarak, Hamashakan, Naga Ba 25. Waya all. Hana Ratha. Lapaniya Yahweh. Ka'ashah. Tazawah Yahweh. Ath Mashah. Last one, 26. Wayasham Ath Mazabak. Hazahab. Ba'ahal. Mawa'id. Lapanaya. Haparakatha. All right. Exodus chapter 40. We're going to start at verse Salaki. We're going to start at verse 20. Exodus chapter 4, verse 20. This is what we just read. And he took and put the testimony into the ark and set the staves on the ark and put the mercy seat upon the ark. Verse 21. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle and set up the veil of the covering and covered the ark of the testimony as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 22. And he put the table in the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward, without the veil. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the tabernacle on the side of the tabernacle southward. And he lighted the lamps before the Lord as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 26. And he put the golden altar into the tent of the congregation before the veil. All right. Just understand that all this has spiritual meaning as to the instructions that the Lord gave Moses on how to build his tabernacle. Right. It wasn't something that, Moses just summed up in his mind. But the Lord gave him specific instructions and then how to rear it up at a certain day, at a certain time of the season. And this is why when you look at ISUPK's calendar for high holy days, things are to be done according to how the Lord prescribed in Leviticus 23, right? We are not in our place of rest. We are in captivity. We are under the knee of our oppressor. So we have to understand that when Christ comes to erect his kingdom, then we'll be able to properly perform these services according to how Moses did it. And the children of Israel performed it, and Aaron and his sons performed it. Right now, it's just rehearsal. This is rehearsal time, man. But in about a hot sec, we're going to get this right. We're going to get it all the way right. Let's do the next 7. Start Exodus chapter 40. Wow, we finally finishing the book of Exodus. Most High in Christ. Exodus chapter 40. We're going to start at verse 27. All right. Waya Qatar, Alayawa, Qataratha, Samayam, Ka'ashar, Tazawar, Yahweh, Ath Mashah, verse 28. Wayasham, Ath Masak, Hapatha, Lamashakan, verse 29. Wa'ath Mazabak, Ha'ayla, Sham, Pathak, Mashakan, Ahal, Mawa'id, Waya Al, Ilayawa, Ath Ha'ayla, Wa'ath Hamanakah, Ka'ashar, Tazawar, Yahweh, Ath Mashah, verse 30. Wayasham Ath Hakayar, Bayan, Ahal, Mawa'id, Wanayam, Hamazabak, Wayathan, Shema, Mayam, Lara Katazah, verse 31. Yara Katazawar, Mama Nawar, Mashah, Wa'a Haran, Wabana Yawa, Ath Yada Yaham, Wa'ath Ragala Yaham, verse 32. Baba Al Ahal, Mawa'id, Waba Quara Bathum, Al Hamazabak, Yara Katazawar, Ka'ashar, Tazawar, Yahweh, Ath Mashah, verse 33. Wayaquam, Ath Hakatazah, Sabayab, Lama Shakan, Walama Zabak, Wayathan, Ath Masak, Sha'ar, Sha'ira, Hakatazar, Wayakal, Mashah, Ath Hama La'akah, verse 34. Wayakasa, Ha'ai Nun, Ath Ha'al, Slaki, Ahal, Mawa'id, Waka Bawad, Yahweh, Mala'ah, Ath Hamashakan. All right. Exodus chapter 40. We're going to start at verse 27. And he burnt in sweet, what we just read, and he burnt sweet incense thereon, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle. And he put the altar of burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle, of the tent of the congregation, and offered it upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 30. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put there to wash withal. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat. Verse 32. When they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 33. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then a cloud covering the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And this is why all this had to be done to the T, according to how the Lord commanded it. And Moses instructed the children of Israel and chose certain men to build the Lord's tabernacle. And these men were given were poured upon them the Spirit of the Lord to be able to craft and to be able to use cunning work to get the Lord's tabernacle done. The Lord does not the Lord's Spirit just doesn't dwell anywhere, right? The Lord is the Lord's glory will fill the tabernacle, but it has to be done according to his specifications. That's why it says, then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. You know what I mean? And this is why all this was done, right? I think we got 7 more to go. We're finally done with the book of Exodus, going into the book of Leviticus. Get a Lord a hand for that. You know what I mean? It's been an excellent book to read since the inception of COVID-19, which was glorious in my sight, which was poetic, the most poetic story I've heard in recent years. But give me a sec. We're gonna do the next 7 in the Hebrew. This is the last set of 7 that we're gonna do. We're gonna Shalakia, let me just make sure. All right, so let's just make sure. Let's do this real quick. Wala Yakal Mashah Labawa Al Ahal Moa'id Kaya Shakan Ila Yawa Ha'ai Nun Waka Bawad Yahweh Mala'ah Ath Hamashakan. All right. Let's start it. We're gonna do 6 verses in Leviticus chapter 1. All right. Wayakura al Mashah Ya Waya Debar Yahweh Aliyawa Ma'ahal Mawa'id La'amar, verse 2. Debar al Banya Yasha'ala Waya Marath Alaham Adam Kaya Yakwa Rayab Makam Kwara Bun Layahawa Man Haba Hama Maha Habakwa Waman Hataza'an Thakwa Rehabawa Ath Quara Bunayakam, verse 30, verse 3. Ilaha Quara Bunawa Man Habakwa Zakar Thamayum Yakwa Rehabanawa Al Pathak Ahal Mawa'id Yakwa Rayab Athawa Laura Tazanawa Lapanaya Yahweh, verse 4. Wasamak Yadawa Al Ra'ashah Ha'ai La Wanara Tazah Lawa Lakapar Ila Yawa, verse 5. Washakat Ath Ban Habakwa Lapanaya Yahweh Waha Quara Yabawa Banya Aharan Haka Hanayam Ath Hadam Waza Rakwa Wa Ath Hadam Al Hama Zabak Sabayab Ashar Pathak Ahal Mawa'id, verse 6. Waha Pashayat Ath Ha'ai La Wanathak Atha Lana Thakaya, verse 7. Oh, that's it on that. That's it on that. What we just read. We're starting at Exodus chapter 30, Exodus chapter 40, verse 35. Salakia. All right. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode therein, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. We're going to do Leviticus chapter 1. And the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of cattle, even of the herd and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it at his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. Now, if you're going to make an offering, man, you got to make it. You can't go and, offer a, you offer an animal that is crippled or that has some sort of impairity, that's somehow impaired. You can't do that. If you're gonna make an offering unto the Lord, you got to give your best offering, man. Give your best cattle, give your best herd. If you're gonna make that offering, and that's what that's saying when it says without blemish. Verse 4: And he shall put his hands upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. Verse 5: And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priest, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. Salakia, bear with me before this dies on me. All right. And with that, we're going to end the Sabbath service. All right. Barak, La Yashala. Imajim, which means to stand. Upon your Hakwadam, rise and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwathka, Taba'ah, Ratazakah, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawar, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanlanawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabuwathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabuwath Yanawa, Wala'ah, Zabayanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Wa'ala, Wahatapa'arath, La'aywalamyam, Aman. What we just read. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. Amen. We're going to do the power, Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Baba Kashah, Nathan Lanawa, Hakak, Lara Pa'ah, Call Maka'ala, will call Matawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha Matazarayam, Hakak, Lahaquayam, Hamathim, Hakak, Arakawa, Hatama'Allah, Lagarashan, Ba'ashim Yahushai, the water. Amen. We just read, Lord, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. We're going to do Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Harayam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Azayah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayam, Wa'arataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yashan, Shawamah, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yumyaka, Wayamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yikaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makara, Yashama, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashama, Taza'athka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'aid Awalam. We just read, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. All right, we're going to do Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damalika, Al-Takarash, wa Al-Tashakwat, Al-Kayahana, Al-Yabika, Yahama Yawan, Wabashanayika, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Aimaka, Yerayamwa, Sawad, Wayatha Aitazawa, Al-Tizapawanyika, Amawa, Lakawa, Wanakakida, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazaka, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwa, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Love, Yakadwa, Al-Yakad, Bayarat, Yakarathwa, Ahal Ya, Adawam, Where Shemaila Yam, Mawa'aba, Wa Hagarayam, Gabal, Wa Amawan, Wa Amalat, Palashat, Am Yashabia, Tazawar, Gum Ashawar, Nelawar, Imam, Hayawa, Zera'ai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamajid, Kasa, Yisra'ah, Kayabian, Banakal, Koyashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shiyatamwa, Salaki, Nadiyamawa, Ka'ara, Wakazaba, Wakazabak, Wakazazamanai, Call Nasiyakamwa, Ashar, Amawar, Nayirashah, Lanawar, Athna Awath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shiyatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapanya Rakar, Ka'ash, the Ba'ira, Ya Ira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Hariyam, Kantaradupma, Basa Irika, Wabasawathka, the Bahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kuala One, Waya Bakwashwa, Shamkar, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Waya Bahawa, Ija'id, Waya Kapawa, Waya Abadwa, Waya the Iwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamkar, Yahawah, Labadka, Ayawan, I'll call her a Ratiza. All right. What we just read in Psalms 83. Keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. A sword is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, at the brook of Kasan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Ze'ed. Yeah, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. All right, we're going to do the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Mayak Ya'ala, wa Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyam, Ha Saranyam, Ha Quatazayanyam, Ha Koyayoyam, wa Akwafyam, Bahashim Yahushai, the water, Amen. What we just read. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. We're going to do the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, listen to us right now. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and to the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA spacecraft, space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channel, the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderers. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread throughout the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. All right. Saw. All right, we're going to give a salute to the brothers. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakathum. We're going to give a salute to the sisters. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahushua. And with that, we're going to end the Sabbath service with the Lord in hand.